Welcome to my kitchen. Let's make a marinara sauce. When I was a kid, my family had pasta with red sauce and Italian sausage weekly. So I've always seen a large pot of pasta as a valuable thing. It's delicious and downright cheap. There's a famous scene in The Godfather where Capo Pete Clemenza is cooking up pasta sauce in the kitchen. He calls over future Don Michael Corleone to give him a quick lesson, telling him, "You never know, you might have to cook for 20 guys someday." That always stuck with me. Some of my earliest memories of cooking on my own was when I would make food for groups of my friends in high school. So Clemenza was right about that, but he was wrong about his sauce. The recipe in The Godfather is terrible. Clemenza's recipe was to fry some garlic in oil, then add tomatoes and tomato paste, raw meat, wine, and sugar, in that order. Will it make a sauce? Sure, but it's not going to be very good. So here's how to do it right, with no more complexity than what Clemenza taught Michael. This recipe isn't going to feed 20 guys, but Clemenza's recipe wouldn't have fed 20 guys. He would have covered about 10. My recipe, it'll cover about a pound of dry pasta, or enough for 4 to 6 people. First, take about a tablespoon of a generic Italian dry spice blend and throw it into a glass. Add about a cup of hot water. And just let that spice bloom while we do our other work. We're going to use 28 ounces of whole tomatoes, 15 ounces of tomato sauce, and 6 ounces of tomato paste. And don't worry about buying the good stuff. Generic is just fine. We'll beat up these tomatoes a little bit with a potato masher, but alternatively, you could use a can of diced tomatoes. If you want a smooth sauce, you can always go with 2 cans of the tomato sauce and 2 cans of the tomato paste. I always use a little bit of water to make sure I get every last bit of sauce out of my can. Fill the tomato paste can with water and add that as well. We take that large pot and put it over a low heat to warm up. In the meantime, we're going to brown up a pound of sausage. I'm using an open ground Italian sausage, but you could just as easily use links. If you do use links, be sure to take a fork and poke a bunch of holes in the outside casing, that way all the fat inside can bleed out. Since this is just an open ground sausage, we're just going to crumble it into our pan. Cook it over a medium heat for about 30 minutes, stirring it every now and then until you see it start to brown. Once the sausage is browned, turn off the heat and then use a spider basket to transfer the sausage over to the sauce. This leaves more of the oil in the pan. Stir the meat into the sauce and then put it back on that low heat. Take that cup of dry Italian spice that we've had blooming and pour it into the pan. We're going to heat that over a high heat until almost all the water boils away, and then we're gonna throw in our garlic. Garlic's flavor comes from rupturing the garlic cell walls. To do that, we're gonna run 3 good-sized garlic cloves through a microplane. Shredding the garlic was just the right amount of time to have the water boil out from our pan, and now we can add it straight in with our spices. Fry that off until you see the little bits of garlic go from a white to a golden brown. Once it looks right, we add it to our sauce. Stir and incorporate. Keep it covered over a low heat, stirring it every 10 minutes or so for the next half hour. For this sauce, I like to use tubular noodles. Macaroni, mostaccioli, penne, ziti. The sauce gets inside the tubes and lends itself to a fantastic eating experience. I don't cook my pasta in salt water, but you do you. I also cook it until it's just barely cooked through. The best way to know if the pasta is done is to just keep testing it. Here's what it looks like at 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and I'm happy. Strain the pasta out and add it back into the pot. You could completely sauce all of the pasta if you want to, or let people take bowls of pasta and sauce it as they please. It's just up to you how you want to serve it. This will feed a room full of people for less than $1 a person, and you'll hear no complaints. Thanks for watching this episode of Eat at Joe's. Hope you enjoyed the pasta. I'll see you next time.